Something abnormal just happened in Dallas real estate, and the market here has always been pretty hot, but right now we're seeing inventory levels explode to heights not seen in over a decade, and we've hit nearly 31,000 homes for sale. That's 60% higher than normal. And there's some huge market forces at play, really kind of causing this crazy shift. But if you don't understand them, then you could easily miss the perfect buying opportunity right now in front of you, or worse, you could significantly overpay in a market just like this. So if you want to be prepared for what's happening in the Dallas market right now, let me break it down for you. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Levi, your local Dallas real estate expert and the #1 relocation team in all of Dallas, Texas. So having to work with buyers and sellers every day, my team and I are always in the know about what's going on in the market. And I'll tell you what's happening right now is unlike really anything I've seen in a very long time. Now make sure to stick with me till the end, where I'm also going to reveal some key strategies that you can use to take advantage of this crazy market, especially with what we're doing with our clients right now. Now, for years, buying a home in Dallas, it was kind of like trying to grab the last TV at Best Buy during Black Friday. But, if you blinked, houses were gone. And homes would hit the market and, just go under contract within hours, sometimes even with multiple offers. So the pandemic created this really crazy situation where everyone was fighting over barely any homes, especially when everyone was trying to get out of the East Coast and the West Coast. But something just happened recently, and the number of homes in Dallas has shot up to almost 31,000, and that is about 60% from what we normally see this time of year. So that's pretty crazy. This is the most options buyers have had since 2011, 2012, and this is happening all over Dallas-Fort Worth. So even with all these homes on the market, prices have dipped a little bit, but not completely crashed. So the median sales price in Dallas was $428,000 in August, and that's about an 8% drop from last year. But homes that used to sell in about 6 days are now sitting for several months, all right? And they're selling around 3% below the asking price on average. I mean, we are actually getting about $10,000 less than a listing price on average with our clients right now. But that's a complete flip from the seller's market we've seen, over the past few years. Now, of course, you're probably wondering what's behind the inventory explosion. So it's not really just one thing. It's kind of like this perfect storm of really 3 big factors that are happening all at once. Now, first of all, sellers who have been waiting during all of the interest rate craziness, or they're kind of finally jumping back in. I mean, they've been watching rates go up and down, and many have just decided it's time to move, really, no matter what. Now, second, there's been a massive wave of new construction. I mean, Dallas-Fort Worth is still leading the country with over 71,000 new housing units approved in 2024, and builders have been going crazy trying to keep up with the demand, and all of these homes are hitting the market right now. Also, wait until I show you the neighborhood by neighborhood breakdown in just a minute, because some areas are getting hit way harder than others. But even with all of this new construction, I mean, buyers are still struggling with affordability. And of course, third, buyers are pulling back as homes get less affordable. Higher mortgage rates plus Dallas's already high prices are kind of pushing some of the buyers completely out of the market. So if we ask the big question, and the big question kind of becomes, is this just a blip, or are we seeing a major shift in the Dallas housing market? Well, if we want to answer that, let's look at another huge change that's happening alongside this inventory surge, and that's the absolute explosion in seller concessions. Now, if you thought the inventory explosion was crazy, wait until you hear about this. Almost half of Dallas homes this year included seller concessions. So we're talking about 49% of sales, which basically is at an all-time high and way above the national average of 44%. So what does that mean for you and in real life? It means that half of the sellers are sweetening the deal to get buyers to bite. And these aren't little token incentives either. I mean, the average concession package in Dallas now runs about $13,000 per deal, and that's up from $10,000 last year. With our specific team, we've averaged $20,000 in concessions with all of our clients who have bought this year. Now, let me tell you, I just personally bought another home. It's in historic downtown Frisco, and I was able to not only get 3% seller concessions, I was able to structure 6% commission towards myself. Now, I can only do that as an agent buying a home, but that's 9% worth of concessions, you could say, because I'm using my commissions actually towards the down payment as well. So with the 3% concessions, I was also able to negotiate in a permanent rate buy down, not just a 2-1 or a 3-2-1 buy down, but a permanent rate buy down to 6.5%, which I will take that right now. And I think that's still a good rate, and the numbers still work for me on that property, which will be a rental property, especially with everything that's happening in Frisco, especially with Fields, with Firefly Park, with Universal Kids Resort, and the revitalization of old downtown Frisco, which is completely torn up right now. That's why I know I was able to get a good deal. So you make your money when you buy, not necessarily when you sell. But a few other key factors is that this home set for many, many months, and they did a significant price reduction. Now, it's not that they're losing that amount of money. They overpriced the house in the first place. And actually, in my discussions with the agent wanted to list the house at a reasonable price, actually what was more in line with the market, but the sellers wanted more. And that's typically what we're finding in this market right now. Our seller expectations are much higher than what the actual market will produce in a sales environment. So that's something that you got to keep an eye out for, especially if you're selling, is not getting over ambitious on the price of your house and thinking this is 2022 again. Now, all over Dallas, sellers are offering everything from mortgage rate buy downs to paid HOA fees, repair allowances, and closing costs to help out. About 1 in 5 homes really cut their price in September alone. So this leads us to another major factor that's reshaping the Dallas landscape right now. So the new construction boom that's been building momentum for years is now absolutely flooding the market with inventory. Now, builders have been absolutely crushing it in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, as I said, with over 71,000 housing units approved last year, that beats Houston, New York, Phoenix, and Atlanta. Almost 2/3 of those were single-family homes. Now, of course, with all these houses hitting the market and fewer buyers qualifying at today's rates, I mean, builders are getting super aggressive with their incentives. And I mean, they're getting really aggressive. So I was at a new community in Prosper over the weekend, and the builder is offering a 3-2-1 buy down, which means buyers can get rates as low as 3.99% in the first year on some FHA loans. I've also seen permanent buy downs, just like I got as well, from 6.5% down to 5% on homes around 550,000. But beyond the rate buy downs, builders are really throwing in all kinds of extras. I mean, they got design center credits for flooring and appliances. I mean, smart home packages, you name it. I mean, some are just flat out cutting prices by 12 to 60 to even 80,000 on homes from the 200s to the 500s. And builders aren't pumping the brakes really that hard, while they're still planning about 46,000 new home starts in 2025. Now, that's the lowest since 2019, but it's still a lot of inventory hitting the market. But here's where things really kind of get interesting. I mean, this new construction wave isn't affecting all the segments of the market in the same way. In fact, the Dallas market has fractured into completely different price tiers, kind of behaving in totally different ways. So I want to break that down for you next. So the Dallas market hasn't really just cooled. I mean, it's split into completely different segments that are acting in different ways. So I want to break it down by price for you. So if we take a look at the high end, the luxury end, $1 million plus homes, I mean, inventory has ballooned to 5 months of supply. Now, that's still a seller's market on paper, but these nice homes are sitting much longer, and sellers are feeling a lot more pressure to drop prices and offer some of those concessions. Now, in the middle range from 300 to 750,000, we're seeing really kind of the strongest performance. I mean, the price bracket makes up about 27% of total sales, with the $300,000 to $400,000 segment being kind of the busiest. But even here, inventory has jumped to 5.3 months of supply for homes between 500,000 to 750,000. But I'll also share some specific buyer strategies at the end that are helping our clients save tens of thousands in these price brackets. And for the starter homes, especially condos and townhomes, we're seeing some of the biggest price drops. So the median price for condos is down about 10.9% from last year, and inventory has shot up around 8.2 months of supply. That is clearly a buyer's market. But, you know, kind of what's behind the split, it's really about what people can afford. The middle range is where most of the demand sits because it's where most families can qualify with today's interest rates. But even in that sweet spot, buyers have way more choices than they did a year ago. And speaking of choices, I mean, the split market isn't just happening by price point. It's kind of really playing out across different neighborhoods too. So some areas are getting hit much harder than others, while a few surprise spots are actually thriving, in this type of environment. So I want to take a look at what's happening neighborhood by neighborhood. Now, not all neighborhoods in Dallas are kind of feeling the shift in the same way. So I want to walk you through what we're seeing in really some key areas. Now, if we look in Preston Hollow, one of Dallas's nicest neighborhoods, the median home price is around $1.9 million, which is kind of the same from last year. But here's what's kind of crazy. There are 33% more homes for sale in Preston Hollow now. So even in the luxury market, the inventory it's starting to stack up. And if you look at Highland Park, which is ultra luxury, that's held up pretty well with the average prices around $2.7 million. So the area benefits, of course, from top rated schools, limited housing supply. But even over there, homes are taking over a month or 2 or 3 to sell in many cases. That is amazing for that price point. But if you look at Uptown, which young professionals love for the walkability and the nightlife, they've seen prices drop around 3.3%. And homes used to sell within 30 days are now taking 90 to 120 days. But the condo market has gotten hit especially hard with all of the new construction. Like one neighborhood is a pretty big surprise, Lakewood around White Rock Lake. So a lot of areas are kind of cooling off or staying the same. Lakewood's median price is up 32% from last year. So that's making it one of the few spots that is seeing some insane growth. And the mix of the historic homes and lake access has really kept that demand strong. But the real estate shift looks quite different depending on where you look around Dallas-Fort Worth. And in Rockwall County, for example, inventory has jumped to almost 6 months of supply. So clearly still on the cusp of a buyer/seller's market, but other suburban areas are also showing varying levels of inventory growth. Now in North Dallas, homes are taking about 50 days to sell on average compared to the 43 days last year. Not a big difference, but Oak Cliff is seeing properties stay on the market for 49 days. That's up from like 42 days last year. These are extended selling timelines that give buyers a little bit more breathing room to make decisions compared to, when everything was going crazy a couple of years ago. And with the inventory growing in nearly every suburb, buyers now have options they simply didn't have even within the last 2 years. So this brings us to another major factor driving these market differences, and that's the economic landscape in Dallas-Fort Worth that's affecting buyer purchasing power. Now, if you look at the Texas economy, it's still outperforming most of the country, but there are signs of that even cooling just a little bit, and that's directly impacting housing. So the forecast shows about 1.3% in job growth in 2025, adding about 180,000 jobs, which is pretty solid, but it's below the state's long-term trend of like 2% growth. But Dallas-Fort Worth specifically added around 47,000 new jobs year over year. So that's an increase of about 1.1%. So the gains came mostly from leisure and hospitality. You got health services, trade and transportation, government, and also professional services. But some of the sectors are showing some weakness. So you got manufacturing, you got financial services, and other service industries actually lost jobs. So the unemployment rate ticked up to about 4.1% in August statewide. But the economic picture really kind of helps explain some of the housing market cooling as well. But job growth is still positive, but slowing from kind of a more crazy pace, especially after the pandemic. And with mortgage rates still high, the combo is squeezing housing affordability. But it brings us also to one of the biggest factors affecting buyer psychology and purchasing power in today's market. Those historically high mortgage rates that have transformed what people can afford. Now, current 30-year fixed rates are kind of like hanging around 6.3, 6.5, with 15-year fixed rates around 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, while rates are trending down from 2024 peaks, but they're still way higher than the 2 to 3% rates many buyers got during 2020 and 2021. So the high rates are still hammering affordability. Now, a buyer who could afford a $500,000 home at 3% might only qualify for a $375,000 home at today's rates with the same income and down payment. Now, the good news is that home purchase applications are starting to pick up despite these rates. And so that's kind of suggesting buyers are adjusting to the new normal. And with more inventory and less competition, many buyers are finding ways to make it work through concessions, through rate buydowns, and price negotiations. So when you take all of these factors in mind, you've got the inventory explosion, you got seller concessions, new construction, you got neighborhood variations, economic shifts, and high mortgage rates. What do we say about the future in Dallas and where is the market headed? All right, one company called Reventure is forecasting a 7.8% drop over the next 12 months. They say the market is still overvalued by 22%, suggesting asking prices might keep falling for a couple of years before hitting bottom. And then you got Zillow data, which is showing house prices down about 4.8% over the last year with an average value of about $306,000. But I want you to be mindful of these types of reports. I mean, actual MLS data, which we only have access to as licensed agents, says home prices in Dallas County are only down about 1.4% year over year and 6.1% in Collin County. But then you have to look somewhere like in Prosper, which is actually up 2.6% year over year. So keep in mind that real estate is hyper local. Now, it's one thing to see all these videos on YouTube, especially right now, saying that there's going to be a market crash. But again, you have to look at the specific neighborhoods and areas you are wanting to possibly purchase in. Like I said, Prosper, one of the hottest North Dallas suburbs, up 2.6% year over year. I don't see any type of massive crash happening in Prosper or even Frisco. Frisco, on average, if you look year over year, and this can change actually month to month as well. So you also get to be mindful of year over year reporting, which could change, 2 to 5% every single month. I mean, Frisco is showing 5% down from last year. But again, that's not a crash. And with everything that is happening in Frisco, I don't expect prices to go down with all of the new development. I mean, there is massive growth and changes and job opportunities that are happening in Frisco that I think this is just temporary and seasonal, especially since we're moving into fall where you typically see home prices dip. But here's the important part. The market shift is creating some really amazing opportunities for buyers who know how to navigate it with the right team. And we're seeing a perfect storm that favors buyers with record inventory levels and nearly half of sellers offering concessions. I mean, homes are selling below asking price. Like I said, we're averaging $10,000 below asking price with our clients, and they're staying on the market more than twice as long as during the pandemic. On top of that, builders are offering aggressive incentives to move their properties. So, how can you take advantage of this market? I want to share with you the exact strategies that are working for our clients right now. So if you're looking to buy in today's Dallas market, these are the strategies that are working for us right now. So first, we want to target homes that have been sitting for 50, 60, even 90 plus days. These sellers are usually the most motivated and open to deals. Look for price drops. I mean, they're a clear sign that the seller is getting anxious and willing to negotiate. Second, you want to go after seller concessions pretty hard. Our team has averaged $20,000 in concessions with all of our clients this year. And the data is showing that that is the case as well. So you should be asking for closing costs, rate buy downs, repair credits, and all of that can be factored in. Third, you want to check out builder incentives for rate buy downs and price cuts. Again, builders are offering temporary buy downs that can get you rates below 4% in the very first year, which makes a huge difference on your monthly payment. Others are slashing prices by tens of thousands of dollars, especially for quick move-in homes or inventory homes that they've already completed. Fourth, you've got focus on areas with the highest inventory. I mean, suburban counties like Rockwall have well over 6 months of inventory, so that gives buyers a ton of negotiating power. And the luxury segment over 1 million also has excess inventory that you could take advantage of. And fifth, look at quick move-in homes from builders. Again, these are homes that are done or nearly done, and builders are super motivated to move this inventory before the year end. So we're seeing some of the most aggressive deals on these properties as well. But the bottom line is that Dallas is seeing a once in a decade shift from an extreme seller's market to conditions that really heavily favor buyers right now. So this is abnormal inventory surge combined with the cooling demand and aggressive seller concessions. It's created a window of opportunity that smart buyers should jump on. I mean, I want to wrap this up with what all of this means for you if you're thinking about making that move to Dallas. All right, so the Dallas housing market, I mean, it's gone through a crazy shift. Inventory is exploding to levels we haven't seen since 2011, 2012. Seller concessions hitting record highs, and prices are starting to cool after years of really nonstop growth. But if you're thinking about buying in the Dallas area, now is a pretty good time. But of course, it depends on you and your personal situation. You've got more options, you got more negotiating power, and really less competition than we've seen in over a decade. So if you're selling, understanding these market dynamics is crucial to pricing your home right now and getting it sold in today's environment. And let me tell you, price is your number one marketing strategy. And if you're planning to make the move to Dallas, my team and I would be absolutely thrilled to help you navigate this market. I mean, we've helped over 500 families relocate to Dallas as the number one relocation team here in Dallas just within the last couple of years. And we know how to find the best deals in any market and negotiate the strongest offers in today's market. So all of our contact info is in the description below or on the screen. You can call, text, or email us anytime. We'll create a custom plan based on your specific situation. That's what it's all about. It may not be the right time for you to buy, so don't take this as I'm saying you have to buy right now. I'm just saying let's explore the options, look at your personal situation, and have a conversation and see if we can find a deal, which I know we can find a deal, and I'm still buying in this market. Again, just closing on a house recently that I got a tremendous deal on, got 9% in total in concessions. And by the way, sellers have paid 100% of our commissions as well. So if you hear anything about that, don't worry about that. We negotiate that in as well. On top of that, on average, we're getting $20,000 in concessions for our clients this year and $10,000 under list price on average. So just think about that, combining that with the opportunities in the market today, and it could be a good time. But if you also want to see what types of homes you may want to avoid, check out this video as well. And until next time, well, we hope to show you around town.